Welcome to the Fantasy Thinker. I'm Jared Quartermanch, and today we're going to be doing a little review for Wistful Ascending by JCM Berne. Now, I went into this book with a little trepidation. Last year, this book was featured on my channel for the Book Think episode number 3 with my friend Chris Moen, who talked me into trying it out. Later, I had spoken to Joe Byrne and have found him to be a really nice guy as well. So, has all my objectivity gone out the window? Well, I'll let you decide that for yourself. Um, this book is labeled a superhero space opera fantasy. I'm not 100% sure what that means, but it seems to fit. So Byrne takes the superpowered Superman archetype and plays around with it in fun ways, a really fun way. First, he places the hero in this science fiction setting, mostly on an intelligent space station named Wistful. Is it artificial intelligence? I'm not sure about that. More on that later. But the superhero, Rohan, calls Wistful his home, and what is apparent right in the prologue, right at the bat in this book, is that he has some kind of past that he's escaping from. So Byrne does a good job of slowly revealing pieces of Rohan's past through interaction with other characters, and like the unfolding events in the story. So Byrne also gives us he gives us like the comic book equivalent of a scientific explanation for Rohan's powers, which is just perfect for the story he's telling. The science for other advanced species and artificial intelligence is just as wonky and pure comic book fantasy fun, space bears and all. um, there's also plenty of comic book action to go along with some more intimate scenes, and you can practically like see the thought bubbles as Rohan is thinking. So like you would in a comic book. So that's it's pretty cool how it pictures out like that. The whole book is like told from his point of view, the main characters, and fortunately he's a likable character, in spite of having some a questionable past and doing some questionable things in the course of the story. But since Rohan is the one giving us this information, we kind of have to take it at face value. Other characters in the book seem to accept Rohan's explanations, and in some cases, justifications, which leads us, the reader, to accept them as well. So that was interesting, just some interesting things to think about as you're reading this. And so one thing I really appreciated was that Byrne isn't trying to foist his version of the Marvel or DC universe on us, like a superhero universe that we all know from movies and comics and stuff. And I like the fact that he kept it away from Earth. That Earth is just another tiny planet somewhere else and not the focus of the story. So it's not Earth-centric, so to speak. And you don't have superheroes coming out of the woodwork with all these different funky powers and stuff like that. It's not like that at all. There seems to be like a solid explanation for everything happening within the context of the story. So I appreciate that. And so if you like action, you won't be wanting in this book. There's plenty of action. Byrne writes action scenes very well. He doesn't drag them out, and he doesn't linger on any unnecessary details. There are also full chapters of some talking heads, a little bit, dialogue, interspersed with culinary descriptions and small observations that Rohan is making. So if you're a dialogue maven, then there's plenty of that too. Byrne, he also sets us up with plenty of hints of a greater universe that he's developed. And there's just enough information about, like the immediate area to keep us with like the sense of place. But yet he leaves us with the feeling that there is tons to explore in the future, and in a good way, a good feeling. Um, Burns's prose is not going to like blow you away with depths of description or deep hidden meanings or stuff like that. It's not heavy, and it is designed to keep the pages turning. But he does have some good thematic hints thrown, dispersed throughout the book, and some things that he really lets the reader think about. In the beginning of the book, there is a few thematic hints thrown at us, and that might want to take note of. There is right in the very first page after the prologue. So I can give you a couple examples here. So they're not a spoiler because they're like right there at the beginning. And so there was one line right in the first paragraph where it says children were playing aimlessly nearby, kicking balls back and forth in a game with no apparent rules. And that is kind of thematically points to how Rohan has to deal with the rest of the universe and his life and the life he used to have, and how it comes encroaching upon the life he has now. And there's no apparent rules here. There's some spoken rules and there's some unspoken rules, but they're all those rules seem to be used to justify the actions of whoever's whatever goals the characters have that they're trying to achieve. And so I liked how that was kind of like a hint of things to come here. Um, and another theme was loneliness is the price you're paying for the life you have, and that kind of speaks to Rohan's life he has now and the life he used to have, where he's trying to run away from it, and so loneliness is the price he's got to pay. So, and those themes are explored throughout the book, and in a very nice way. Nothing too subtle. Byrne always brings it to the fore, and he always lets you know what's going on as far as those themes are concerned. And so, yeah, Byrne knows what he's doing. So he he takes those things and he runs with it. There were a few times where I thought the dialogue was a little bit clunky, uh, but overall, like I said, Byrne knows what he's doing, and it was an enjoyable read, a lot of fun. Um, I like the book. There are, I think, 3 more books to come, and I believe that this one, yeah, it says on the cover, it says turn 1 of the hybrid helix. So that's an interesting turn of phrase, if you forgive the pun. But so I know there's already 3 more books beyond this one out, and I'm quite sure he's planning to write more as well. There is no foreseeable end to this series, kind of like comic books have no foreseeable end. So that's another interesting parallel. And overall, highly recommend this book, especially if you need something to that's different than anything else you're reading as far as fantasy, science fiction, and superhero stories. It's different than all those things while combining elements of all those things together in a fast-paced, well-written, well put forth story. Wistful Ascending by JCM Byrne. Go ahead out and get yourself a copy, and be good to each other. Thank you.